into him to see if he'll back off, because this time he's got a bit more confidence. So this is a different guy than last time. Yeah. It's alright. Alright. So move in. He's not disengaging it. Hi, I'm Jesse with Canine Perspective, and this is a follow-up video to Aggressive Pitbull Attacks Dog Trainer. That video got a lot of positive and negative feedback. People that know me know that I work with aggressive dogs. Of course, know the quality of work that I provide to my clients and working with these kind of cases. And there was a lot of negative as well. People who were not aware of how severe dogs and their aggression can be, and just kind of ignorant as opposed to what they can do. This has nothing to do with the dog's breed. This isn't because the dog's a pit bull or anything like that. This is simply genetics, meaning that particular dog just happened to have these issues. It could be a German Shepherd, it could be a Rottweiler, it could be a Chihuahua. It doesn't matter what the dog is. When I speak about genetics, I'm talking about that specific dog, not that specific breed. There were a lot of kind of questions that were posed because of the video, and I'm going to answer some of those questions now actually. One question was, why did I allow the dog to attack me for so long? The answer to that is, I didn't know it was that long. To me, when I came in, it'd been a while since I had last seen Zeus. I wasn't expecting him to be that aggressive because he was actually more of a chicken the first time I saw him. He had built some confidence since the first time. So during the assessment, what felt like 30 seconds to a minute to me actually was 5 minutes when I went back and reviewed the video. So it wasn't intentional for me to actually let that dog behave that way for that period of a long length of a time. However, in the end, it doesn't matter, because when we're addressing the problem, it's going to get resolved either way. So even if I let the dog attack me for an hour, when I start doing the work and taking the steps necessary to correct the aggression, it doesn't play a factor. It doesn't work against me. It doesn't inhibit me in any way. It doesn't matter. Another thing was, if he was so aggressive, why didn't he attack anybody else? The reason is, it was me and two owners, the boyfriend and girlfriend, and I was the threat. Zeus had what I would call territorial anxiety-based aggression. What that means is, Zeus already was an anxious dog. He was overstimulated. He was always on edge. And when someone came over, his territorial instinct would kick in, and he would lose himself because the territorial behavior and the anxiety would get intertwined with each other, and he would get lost and then just get stuck in the state of aggression, or that kind of like really high alert, high suspicion state. So he is only aggressive to those he does not know or does not trust. So aside from the couple that owned him and one or two other people, anybody else that came into the home was considered a threat. And that's why he was attacking me and not caring about anybody else. He knows them, he trusts them. In that moment, I'm the threat. I'm the one he's trying to get rid of. I'm the one he's trying to annihilate, right? So another thing was, why were there no corrections? And that's because this was an assessment. I had done a consultation with Zeus about a month before to evaluate his aggression, his level of aggression. So since it had been a month since I last seen him, I wanted to do another evaluation, but also a reassessment. I also wanted to get footage to show the public and to show people and my clients, potential clients, what I work with on a regular basis. My specialty is aggression, so it's nice to have these kind of videos to provide proof, to show people like, look, I can help you, and this is a case, right? So I wanted nothing to show or nothing to inhibit the dog. I didn't want prong collars, I didn't want choke chains or electronic collars or anything like that, because I didn't want anybody trying to put the blame on a training tool, saying like, oh, the dog's being aggressive because it's a shock collar on. I wanted the dog to be completely organic. I wanted the environment and the situation and the context with the dog to be completely organic, so the dog is not being held back. You know, I come in with the suit so that I'm protected, I'm not in any kind of danger, and you can see what he does naturally on his own. Another thing was someone had posed that he is protection trained. It was another trainer. That is actually not the case. Zeus has no protection training. He has no training at all. He just happens to be a highly territorial and anxious dog that happens to have the who chooses the option of biting as a means to dealing with stress. I see this on a regular basis, whether it's territorial-based aggression or fear-based or anxious-based, nervous-based. It doesn't matter. Like, dogs will bite. His severity is rare. That type of dog, I'll see a couple of times a year. But it's not uncommon. It's not common, but it's not uncommon. So, even if you are a trainer that deals with aggressive dogs, you may not know that the dog you're dealing with is that aggressive if you're working the dog with the muzzle. This is why I wear a bite suit. This allows me to come in completely normal, completely neutral and natural, and let the dog do what they're going to do. Let them respond how they want to respond. Be as aggressive as they want to be, because this allows me to assess what's the intensity of this dog's aggression. Some dogs can look very ferocious and very vicious, and you would think, oh my God, this dog's going to kill somebody. However, when you go to approach them and you put pressure on them in conflict, they step back and they're like, I don't want to have anything to do with you. I was bluffing. There's dogs that have high fear and low aggression, or no aggression, and you get some dogs that have a lower fear level and high aggression, or you might have high aggression and high fear with high aggression. You don't really know unless you're letting the dog behave naturally and using this approach to get a real good idea of what's the intensity of this dog's aggression. This has nothing, again, to do with his breed. This has nothing to do with his upbringing. This is just genetics. He just happened to be that personality type that was like, you know what, I'm territorial, I'm anxious, and I'm going to use this tool that I have, which is my mouth, to this intensity to get what I want, which is to get you to leave, right? Or to even completely annihilate you. It doesn't really matter. But these type of cases are out there. This isn't something that he was trained to do. This isn't something that was done through abuse or anything like that. This dog is just like that. I get cases like this. It's not. I've had people get dogs since they were 2 months straight from a litter, and then over the course of a year and a half, slowly the dogs become more aggressive until they end up being that kind of intensity. And they had them their entire life, aside from those first 2 months when they were with the litter. So these things happen. The other thing is, with protection trained dogs, they're trained to go for specific areas. Like we usually train them to go for the bicep or the chest area, and even if they go for the leg, what will happen is if they lose that bite, you'll see them retarget and come back into that same general area. Whereas with Zeus, you see him kind of scuttling around. He's nervous, he's panicking, he's backpedaling. He gets a bite, he shakes for a bit, and then once he lets go, he runs away, and then he comes back in. He goes for another bite in the lower pant leg, and he grabs a strap. He had no real direction. He had no real purpose other than hey, I'm gonna bite this guy and scare him to get him to get out of here. There was no power really behind it. He was biting with the front of his mouth, with the front of his teeth, and it wasn't a full-on bite. A protection trained dog will come all the way in and bite you with the entirety of their mouth. Not protection trained. That video was not fake. Again, you can watch my other videos. I deal with these cases regularly. Unfortunately, I can't videotape all of these dogs that I work with, because since the dogs may have bite records, or maybe there's a lawsuit pending, or just people are embarrassed to have footage of their dog behaving in such a manner out in the public, that they'd rather not have that being shown. So it's hard to get footage of these types of cases, but they do exist. And when you go in there and you take the approach that I take and that I was taught, and you're having that bite suit, and you're like, all right, let the dog do what it's going to do, you'll really start to see the type of aggressions and the level of aggression that's actually out there. Unfortunately for Zeus, his owners were unable to keep him because they were moving shortly after he had started training. The new place they were moving to did not allow for pit bulls. They had the breed restriction. So unfortunately, I did not know what happened to Zeus. However, that is again out of my hands. But these dogs in these cases can be worked with, and you will see in the footage in this video that I'm able to get him to stop attacking within minutes of being there on the first session, and over time we would have eventually got him to come around. One of the key things when working with these type of aggression cases is I don't care about making the dog sociable immediately. That's something that may come in time. Bare minimum, I can make the dog coexist, not attack people. Ideally, you know, we get them to overcome that and they become sociable and they become friendly and you can trust them. Not always, it just depends on the dog. I can't force them to be friendly if it's not a part of who they are. But one of the first steps is when working with these cases is that he has to learn to accept my presence in the home. I couldn't even walk in the front door without him being there and attacking me, right? So I'm not going to care about touching him and petting him from the get-go. I care about him giving me space, not attacking, and letting me move around normally. And if I get too close to him, he's uncomfortable, that he avoids conflict and he moves away from me. And this is always step one. Gradually over time, we would have worked them to the point where I would have been able to pet him. And if it was in him to become sociable, we would have pushed them to complete sociability. In this video, you'll see me kind of going over a lot of what I'm trying to achieve with him and what we're trying to teach, as well as giving examples to the owners to kind of help them understand the psychology of what's going on in Zeus's mind when he gets anxious and territorial. This dog was an aggressive or is an aggressive dog. However, it stems from anxiety. It's not because he's aggressive for the sake of being aggressive. He can't help that when he gets stressed out and he gets anxious, that he deals with that stress with aggression. That's just genetics. That's just how he's wired. That's just how his brain reacts. Dogs that are aggressive for the sake of being aggressive are even rarer than these kind of cases because they intend to do harm. This guy, he was just overloaded with anxiety and just happened to have a high level of aggression paired with that. Take it off. So you'll just stay away from him, okay? He's dipping already. Good. And all those jumps that you saw were on 10 initially. Now I'm higher. I'm trying to get him to settle. Now I'm on 35, okay? So when I came in, I start off low. There he goes, he starts to rest here, right? But he's still agitated. I start off low, and you saw those big jumps that he was doing, right? Rah, rah, right? Yeah. Because he's so amped up. That's where all your aggression is coming from, right? So even though I'm super low, big reaction. So it's kind of like you go into a haunted house. You're not scared because you know it's not real. You know it's not real, but at the same time, you know. So then he runs to you, and you can just walk away. And now he's looking for you because now he needs a security blanket, right? Mm-hmm. Good. So I'm going to break him off of you because he needs to handle this himself. Right? Part of this problem is one, he gets super anxious, he gets super amped up, super stimulated. That's a big part of it. The other part of it is that you empower him because he has somebody he needs to protect. You see that?
Yeah, yeah.
So right now, I'm just coming into your house. Territorial instinct kicks in. I'm not against the territorial instinct if he was barking and like holding back, but he doesn't bark. He takes it too far, and that's what we saw. So I come in, and I'm telling him, do no words, just through physical touch. You need to settle down. I'm just walking in, man. Like, I'm not a threat. Over time, we're going to advance this, make it more specific, right? But for right now, when he goes into territorial mode and when he goes into anxious mode, he's using his mouth to reinforce the fact that he doesn't want me here, to reinforce the fact that he thinks that I'm a threat to you, right? So we have to use same psychology back to get him into check. If I'm using food here, forget about it. You know, it's like you're in a burning building, you're not going to grab a brownie on the way out. You're just trying to get the hell out, right? Same thing here. I come in, he goes into panic mode, he's like, somebody's got to take care of this, you're not doing it, and you're not doing it, so I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it the only way I know how, and that's my mouth, right? Here, if you take a look at him, what's he doing?
Breathing heavy.
He's breathing heavy. He wasn't making much eye contact, right? So we're going to hold for a second. You see that panting?
Yes.
That's him stressing out, that's him venting, right? But before she came around, he was facing the wall.
Yeah.
That's avoidance, that's avoidance behavior. Okay, so when we deal with aggression, we have to see avoidance first. If I don't create avoidance, he's never going to be cautious about biting. Right?
Yeah.
So if you're on the expressway and you're driving 55 or 70 in a 55-mile zone, you see the cop, what do you do?
Slow down.
Why?
Because you don't want to get pulled over.
You want to get pulled over. You're showing what?
Resistance, or like you're hesitating.
Caution, right? So you're slowing down, you're like, I don't want to get a ticket, so I'm going to go 55. You pass the cop, you get to a safe enough distance, you speed up again, right? So we need to create caution here with him, but he needs to have that own caution himself, right? But this also is going to get tied to you. He's like, you know what, when I'm with mom and dad, I need to keep my shit in check. Otherwise, they'll check me for it. So then you become the police officer in his life. And this is why this is a lifestyle. This isn't like we do training and you go back to being how you were, because then he goes back to being how he was. No structure, no discipline. He has to handle everything himself. Okay? So now what I'm going to do is, I've gotten him right now to tolerate me being here in this space. Right? And that took me about 30 seconds to a minute because I'm operating on his level. When we operate like a dog, you're going to get these results super quick. If we operate like a human and I go, I don't want to hurt him, which I don't want to hurt him, but at the same time, he doesn't have a problem hurting me. And we saw all that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
We saw all that very clearly, right?
Yeah.
So now as I come in, I'm anticipating if I come close to him, what's he going to do? Why?
Because he feels threatened.
Threatened, right? So now I'm closing that gap. Right now we're about 8 to 10 feet away. He's like, okay, I'm cool with that. Kind of, because I'm still panicking, I'm still looking this way. So right now he's trying to decipher, is it his behavior or is it my presence that's making this happen? And what we're trying to teach him is, it's not me, it's him. Putting your mouth on people does not work. Find a better way to handle your stress. Okay? Any questions? Nope. All right. Yeah, so you see how it's still facing away?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's all avoidance behavior, which is good. Okay? So as I come in, you see that glance?
Yeah.
See that?
Slow down.
Right. So you saw that before I ticked them?
Yeah. He looked at you like he wanted to.
And he was gonna move, right?
Yeah.
So as I come in closer, yeah, you see him kind of close his mouth there a little bit?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna see if we can, I'm gonna dial down a bit. That's 35, just to give you an idea of number. So I went from 10 coming in to 35 when he was biting, right?
Yep.
Right there. See how he closes his mouth?
Yeah.
So right there, that's a moment of tension. Right now he's venting. Right now we could say he's relaxed. Right now I don't feel threatened because of that expression there, right? And he feels relaxed because he's like, all right, I'm cool with this guy being 10 feet away from me. But as I come in closer, you saw that?
Yeah.
You see that? Right. Careful.
wait and let him settle for a bit. I'm gonna let you go in and clear. Okay. 40 now. Right? So I'm gonna break this concentration. Right there.
And we work him through that. So the next time I come in like that, I tick him, and instead of attacking, he's gonna relax. Okay? So this is all standard stuff. This is all how it works. This is why I have this. I need him to attack and to bite. Otherwise, he does not learn that that's what I'm trying to stop.
Yeah.
If I stay at a distance and you're just correcting him before he does anything, yeah, we can get him to calm down, but he still doesn't learn biting warrants this.
Yeah.
He never gets that in check. Does that all make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm gonna come over here. Again, you see the avoidance behavior?
Mm-hmm.
Right there. Okay, so he's relaxed. But as soon as I come over here, we'll hear some kind of sound. Got his attention a little bit. I can wave. You saw that jump there?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's a nervous tick. Okay.
Come over here.
He's lost. He's out of his mind at that point.
Yeah.
That's why I'm using this to get him back to reality. All these things that he's doing right now, I expect to see until I get him to that place where he goes, you know what? Don't attack, just chill.
And this was triggered from the previous owner, or just he was just born this
I don't know why. I don't know why. It doesn't matter now. Because even if it's previous owner, if this is genetics, if this is just what you guys like, positive and all that stuff, it doesn't matter. Because it's gonna be the same result. I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna check his ass. Okay? And so you saw those moments, like he's walking by. This pacing is his brain not being able to settle right now. Right? He can't settle. He does not know what to do. He's like, this dude is still here. I'm attacking the crap out of him. He's not leaving. So he goes under stress. Right? So there's the pacing. This is anxiety. His brain can't settle. This is like, before like an interview, you're nervous. You're walking back and forth. He's doing the exact same thing. Mm-hmm. And he's thinking right now. He's like, do I attack him again? Do I stay back here? Do I relax? Right? If I go low, I'm pretty sure I'm going to trigger him again if I try to stop him.
It's him pacing back and forth, trying to protect us also.
A little bit. This here is him kind of seeking what he's supposed to do. He needs some kind of direction. Mm-hmm. But it can't come from you right now. He needs to figure it out himself.
Okay.
He needs to figure out that you are completely neutral, that I'm completely neutral, and everything that's happening to him right now is in his own head and his own behavior.
Got it.
What have I told him right now?
Nothing. You haven't said nothing to him. Nothing.
Nothing. So there's no guidance.
Yeah.
He's in his head. He's going, what the fuck do I do?
Yeah.
Do I attack again? Do I, and this is him thinking right now.
Mm-hmm.
If I come into your space, I know he's going to attack again.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So what I'm doing here is I'm teaching him, like, every time, dude, you come to me, you're going to get checked. You don't come to me, you stay at a distance, we're good. If I come into your space and you attack me, you're going to get checked. If you have a thought of trying to attack me, you're going to get checked. He's going to figure it out.
Yeah.
And the first day is the worst.
Yeah, definitely.
And this may be like 2 to 3 classes before finally he's like, all right, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? But this is part of the process. Okay? So I'm going to step back here. I'm not going to take him here.
He's looking for like attention.
Yeah. He wants something like, he wants you to pet him and tell him it's going to be okay, which we don't do. Because then we're comforting him.
Yeah.
Right? He needs to learn to deal with it. He needs to learn to deal with stress. Just like we do. Right?
She was the attention was really not okay.
Hold.
So.
Hold. Thought about it right there. Because I don't want to trigger him while he's in there.
Yeah.
You guys, do you have a second leash or is it just that leash?
actually have a second.
Hold on. I'm not gonna check. I have an idea. I'm not sure if I'm gonna do that today. I'm gonna do it next class. But I'm gonna. Problem is here is I want to tick him, but I know he's gonna charge if I go low. Because I need to stop that pacing. Right? Because I ticked him and what did he do? Rah, rah, rah.
Yeah.
And then he charged again. And now I was on 62 that time to get up to not even a 40. Right? There it is. So I picked him on back to that. I'm just trying to help you settle right now. There. Good.
He wants to. He's stubborn.
It's processing right now. So I just want to stop the pacing.
He's like rubbing against him.
I'm not going to take it. Okay. But now he's going to that avoidance mode, right? Now this is partially seeking comfort and trying to protect you. Okay?
You want me to move?
No, you're okay.
Okay.
I'm not going to take him off. Then his anxiety starts to kick in. Right there. One more pacing. But you see how that started to slow down as I kicked him? And I was on 14, right? The reason why I went lower is because he wasn't in that state anymore. He wasn't amped up aggression. He's anxious, he's pacing, he's trying to figure it out. So by me going lower, less intense, and I'm just saying, ooh, relax. Don't let your brain cycle. Don't get lost in that anxiety. And he's still not relaxed because he's standing. Laying down would be more relaxed, right? But I'm settling for this because I'm just trying to stop the pacing. But if I didn't take him, he could be doing that for 30 minutes before he finally lays down because he's just so pissed off. Good. Good. Alright, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to step out because I need a break from this. Okay, I'm going to repeat that exercise. I'm going to knock again. Him going nuts.
Leave the collar on.
Yes, so we're gonna hold your. I'm gonna have you hold back because I'm anticipating as I'm leaving he might try to charge.
Okay.
A couple minutes, okay?
Okay.
The reason why I record these types of cases is because I want to show the public that this is what I work with on a regular basis. There's trainers that say they work with aggression and they really don't. There's trainers that do work with aggression, however they don't get results. You know, and then there's trainers like myself who work with aggression on a regular basis and get results, and we want to show you, the public, what we can do. So this video and these videos and this footage is not an ego booster for me. This isn't me, you know, trying to show off. This is me trying to show you, like, I can help you. If you have a dog that is this aggressive or worse, or maybe not as bad, but you've been through trainers and you've had help and they can't help you, or they're telling you to euthanize your dog, you do not need to. This video is proof that I can get results within minutes as long as you're open-minded, you're dedicated, you're committed, and you're willing to do the work. These kind of cases do take time, does take discipline, and does take a lot of follow-through in order to get those results. However, all my clients that follow through and do the homework get their results. Sometimes it's within a few sessions, sometimes it's within a few months, sometimes we do the training and I tell them, okay, you know what, just keep doing what I show you, let me know what happens in a few months, and then 6 months to a year later they call me like, hey Jesse, our dog finally made that flip and made that jump and is no longer aggressive and is actually a sociable dog now. I can't put a timeline on how these things work. I have an idea and I have approaches that I would use and things like that. However, in terms of length of time, it just all depends. There's so many variables that go into play. But if you've been told by a trainer, by your veterinarian, by your friends, your family, or you yourself have done research and you think that you have no hope for your dog and you need to euthanize them because of their aggression or their behavior problems, keep looking. If you're not in Chicago, if you're not in Miami, where my mentor is, keep looking. There are answers out there. There's plenty of trainers that work with these kind of cases. There's myself, there's Richard Hines, the Miami Dog Whisperer, there's Jeff Gelman, there's Sean O'Shea, the Good Dog. There's plenty of trainers out there. Do your research, don't give up. You can find the answers, and when you're looking for that trainer, see if they have any videos up, see if they have any proof up, look at the reviews. You know, when they come in, are you seeing immediate results? And, admittedly, there are some cases that it may take a couple of sessions, but you should see results fairly quickly if they know what they're doing and if they do specialize in behavior work. With that being said, thank you for watching. I'm Jesse with Canine Perspective, and until next time.